The stars belonged to the Empire. For 500 years, their fleets had crossed the galaxy, bringing world after world under their control. No species had ever stood against them and survived. Admiral Cross stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominator, watching the small blue planet grow larger on the view screen. "This is Earth," his second officer reported. "Scans show basic technology. Nuclear power. Chemical rockets. They have not even left their own star system." Cross smiled. Another easy victory. Another world for the Empire. Behind his flagship, 3,000 warships waited in formation. It was more firepower than needed, but the Empire believed in overwhelming force. The humans would see the fleet, understand their position, and surrender. It always happened this way. "Open a channel," Cross ordered. The communication officer nodded. "Channel open, Admiral." Cross spoke clearly, his words translated by the ship's computers. "People of Earth, I am Admiral Cross of the Galactic Empire. Your world is now property of the Empire. Surrender immediately, and your lives will be spared. Resist, and you will be destroyed. You have 1 hour to respond." The bridge crew waited. Cross had given this speech 47 times before. Sometimes planets surrendered immediately. Sometimes they tried to fight. The result was always the same. Far below, in a military command center deep beneath the mountains of North America, General James Cole listened to the message. Around him, dozens of officers monitored screens and displays. The room was calm, quiet. "Same speech as always," Colonel Lisa Grant said, shaking her head. "They really don't change their approach." Cole nodded. "How many ships?" 3,000, sir. Standard Empire formation. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, and fighter craft. And they think 3,000 is enough." Cole almost laughed. "Send the standard response. Tell them we need time to discuss their offer." Grant raised an eyebrow. "Sir, are we really going to play along?" "For now," Cole said. "Let them get comfortable. Let them think they've won before the fighting even starts." The message was sent. On the Dominator, Cross received Earth's response with satisfaction. "They request 12 hours to consider surrender," the communication officer reported. "Predictable," Cross said. "They hope we will leave." "They always hope." He turned to his weapons officer. 12 hours, then. After that, we demonstrate our power. Target their largest cities. Prepare firing solutions." The hours passed slowly. The Empire fleet moved into attack position, surrounding the planet. On Earth, cities continued their normal routines. People went to work. Children went to school. The news reported the alien fleet, but there was no panic. No fear. This confused Cross. He had seen panic before. He had seen entire populations flee cities, hide in shelters, beg for mercy. But Earth seemed unconcerned. "Admiral," his science officer said, "something is strange. Our scans show minimal military activity. No evacuation. No defensive preparations. They have accepted defeat," Cross decided. "They know resistance is impossible." But he was wrong. When the 12 hours ended, Cross gave the order. "All ships open fire. Show them the price of defiance." 3,000 ships unleashed their weapons simultaneously. Plasma bolts, energy beams, and missiles streaked toward Earth's surface. Enough firepower to crack continents. Enough destruction to end civilizations. Then something impossible happened. The weapons stopped. Every shot, every missile, every beam of energy hit an invisible barrier and simply stopped. The air above Earth's cities shimmered with a blue glow as the shields absorbed the Empire's full assault without effort. Dominator's bridge. Silence fell. "Report." Cross shouted. "Shields, Admiral. the tactical officer stammered. They have planetary shields? Our weapons have no effect. That's impossible. Our scans showed. The scans were wrong, sir. Before Cross could respond, new contacts appeared on the display. Ships, hundreds of them, rising from Earth's surface and emerging from behind the moon. They moved with speed that should not be possible, their hulls gleaming with technology that made Empire vessels look like ancient relics. Admiral, incoming, the first human ship fired. A beam of pure white light lanced across space and struck an Empire cruiser. The cruiser's shields failed instantly. Its hull vaporized. The ship simply ceased to exist. Then the rest of the human fleet opened fire. Empire ships died by the dozens, by the hundreds. Their shields meant nothing. Their armor provided no protection. Human weapons cut through them like paper, each shot perfectly aimed, perfectly lethal. All ships evasive action. Cross screamed. Return fire. But it was useless. The Empire fleet scattered, trying to retreat, but human ships were everywhere. They moved faster, shot more accurately, and showed no mercy. Cross watched his fleet die on the screens before him, helpless to stop it. A human vessel appeared directly in front of the Dominator. It was smaller than Cross's flagship, sleek and elegant. A single shot disabled the Dominator's engines. Another destroyed its weapons. "Admiral," his communication officer said quietly, "they're jamming our distress signals. No one is coming to help us." Cross slumped in his chair, watching his fleet burn. 500 years of conquest, ended in minutes by a species they had dismissed as primitive. He had made a terrible mistake. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted 17 minutes. Of the 3,000 ships that had approached Earth with confidence and pride, only 200 remained. They floated dead in space, engines disabled, weapons destroyed, life support barely functioning. The human fleet surrounded them like predators circling wounded prey. Admiral Cross sat in darkness. Emergency lighting cast red shadows across the Dominator's bridge. Half his crew was dead. The other half waited in silence, expecting death at any moment. "Admiral," the communication officer said, her voice shaking, "the humans are hailing us." Cross straightened in his chair. At least they would speak before killing him. That was something. Open the channel. The view screen flickered to life. A human appeared, wearing a simple uniform. He looked ordinary, not like a warrior who had just destroyed an entire fleet. He had gray hair, calm eyes, an expression that seemed almost sad. "I am General James Cole of Earth Defense Command," the human said. "You are Admiral Cross." It was not a question. Cross nodded slowly. "Do you know why you lost today, Admiral?" Cross felt anger rise in his chest. "Your technology is superior. You hid your true capabilities. You deceived us." "No," Cole said quietly. "You deceived yourselves. You assumed that because we had not left our solar system, we were weak. You assumed that because you had never lost before, you never would. You came to our world expecting an easy victory, and you did not ask the most important question." "What question?" "Why?" Cole leaned forward. "Why would a species with nuclear power and space travel stay on one planet? Why would we not explore? Why would we not expand?" He paused. "The answer, Admiral, is simple. We were waiting. Waiting for what? For someone like you." Cole pressed a button, and the view screen split. Images appeared beside his face. Ancient images. Ruins on distant planets. Technology buried beneath alien soil. Cities abandoned millions of years ago. "Humanity did not begin on Earth," Cole said. "We came from somewhere else. Long ago, so long that we ourselves had forgotten. We spread across the galaxy when your empire was not even born. We built, we explored, we grew. Cross stared at the images. Impossible. The Empire's history went back thousands of years. These ruins were far older. But we learned something, Cole continued. We learned that power corrupts, that expansion leads to war, that conquest brings only suffering. So we made a choice. We would stop. We would settle on one world, Earth, and we would watch. We would let other species grow, make their own choices, find their own paths. You've been watching us? Cross felt cold. For centuries. We knew about the Empire when you conquered your second world. We watched you grow, expand, enslave. We hoped you would change, that you would choose peace. But you didn't. Then why not stop us sooner? Why let us conquer so many worlds? Cole's expression hardened. Because we are not conquerors, Admiral. We don't force others to obey us. We don't dictate how species should live. But we do draw lines. And Earth was that line. You crossed it. The screen changed again. This time it showed the Empire's territory. Hundreds of worlds, all marked in red. As Cross watched, the red began to fade, turning green. What is that? He demanded. Your Empire, collapsing. The species you enslaved are watching this conversation right now. Every world you control is seeing what happened here. They're learning that the Empire is not invincible, that the Great Fleet can be destroyed, that freedom is possible. Cross felt his stomach turn. You're broadcasting this? To every corner of your territory. By tomorrow, rebellions will start. By next week, your empire will fracture. By next month, it will be gone. 500 years of conquest ended because you attacked the wrong planet. You could have just warned us away. We would have left Earth alone. Would you? Cole asked. Would the Empire really have turned away from a planet you thought was weak? Or would you have returned with more ships, more weapons, more determination? He shook his head. No, Admiral. The Empire needed to learn this lesson. A hard way. Silence filled the bridge. Cross had no response. Everything Cole said was true. What happens now? Cross finally asked. Do you destroy us? Conquer our worlds? No. Cole stood from his chair. We're going to offer you a choice. The same choice we've offered every species that has challenged us throughout history. Join us in building a peaceful galaxy, or go home and never expand again. Help the species you enslaved rebuild their worlds, or return to your home planet and stay there. And if we refuse both? Cole's eyes turned cold. Then you'll discover that what you saw today was us being gentle. We disabled your ships, Admiral. We could have destroyed them. We killed only those who continued fighting. We could have killed everyone. Earth has weapons you cannot imagine. Technology that would seem like magic to you. We have chosen not to use it. Don't make us change our minds. The screen went dark. Minutes later, human ships approached the Dominator. They attached docking clamps, began repairs on life support, provided medical supplies. They treated the wounded Empire soldiers with care and efficiency. Cross watched it all in stunned silence. 3 days later, the surviving Empire ships limped back toward their territory. Cross returned to the Empire capital to find chaos. Just as Cole had predicted, rebellions had erupted everywhere. Species that had been enslaved for generations were fighting for freedom. The Empire military was scattered, confused, leaderless. The Emperor himself summoned Cross to the palace. You failed, the Emperor said coldly. No, Your Majesty, Cross replied. I succeeded. I learned the truth. Humanity is not our enemy. They are our teachers. And the lesson is simple. Conquest ends in ruin. Cross resigned his commission that day. He spent the rest of his life helping rebuild the worlds the Empire had destroyed. Many other officers did the same. The Empire did not end overnight, but it changed. Slowly, painfully, it chose a different path. On Earth, life returned to normal. The human fleet disappeared again, hidden in places no scan could find. General Cole returned to his office, filed his reports, and went home to his family docked to the rest of the galaxy. Earth became a legend. The planet that had destroyed an empire without breaking a sweat. The world where the old ones waited, watching, protecting those who could not protect themselves. And in the stars, other aggressive species heard the story. They saw the recordings. They learned the lesson. Some planets were not meant to be conquered. Some species were not prey. And humanity, patient and ancient, would be there if anyone forgot. The galaxy became a little more peaceful after that day. Not perfect, not paradise, but better. And Earth continued to watch, silent and patient, just as they had for millions of years, just as they always would. The end asterisk.